People seem to connect on a digital basis right now, instantly expect an instant response, do a text.
The digital world, Zoom, all of that is very transactional. It works if you are already working with somebody. It doesn't work that well when you're trying to win a new client. Having that face-to-face compresses the time it takes to build a relationship.
So what are some of the things that are event that Zoom cannot duplicate?
You meet with somebody that you didn't know in the morning, and by the evening you're having a drink with them, and by the next day you've got the deal that you're after. So the only people that come here are the ones looking to improve their business, their company, find new solutions, which is why everybody here is so happy to talk to everybody, because they all came for the same reason. Everyone comes here and gets something different out of the experience, and we just make sure they have a really, really good time and have access. Everyone here is a VIP. And it's not so much about what we do as GNEX, it's about the quality of the people that attend. It's getting the right people in the right room has made GNEX special enough for us to keep going after 16 years.
This episode is brought to you by Hamakampai, the first vacation ownership project on the northern coast of Ecuador. Hi everyone, I'm Gaetan Babin, and welcome to Voices of Vacation Ownership. It's the podcast where we speak with leaders shaping the future of our industry. Now, each episode focuses on ideas that help strengthen performance, partnerships, and the owner experience. Today, I'm joined by Paul Mattimoe. He's the president CEO of Perspective Group and a driving force behind the GNEX conference, which is unquestionably one of the most recognized events in the global vacation ownership industry. In a world increasingly powered by AI, remote teams, digital communication, we're asking an important question. Why do face-to-face events still matter? And more importantly, how can industry leaders use them strategically rather than just socially? Paul, thank you so much for your time. Thank you and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we've known each other for a long time. I try to remember exactly when we met, but I've seen you grow from Perspective to add on. You're wearing a lot of hats in this industry.
Yeah, we do. We've always looked for filling gaps in the marketplace, and I've been in the vacation industry now for 31 years. Lived all over the world. The last 14 years here in the US, but prior to that, Spain, Greece, Thailand, India. And so always brought a little piece of each of those places with me and put them into the companies that we built that serve this industry. GNEX being one of them.
Yeah. So people seem to connect on a digital basis right now, instantly expect an instant response, you do a text. The world has changed in a lot of ways in that format. But you think, is there still space for face-to-face like we're doing at these events? You think there's value?
Well, we're here, and there's 180 something people here with us. So I would say so. We've only been doing this for 16 years, and it just keeps kind of getting better and more powerful. But to answer your question seriously, the digital world, Zoom, all of that is very transactional. It works if you are already working with somebody. It doesn't work that well when you're trying to win a new client. And so having that face-to-face compresses the time it takes to build a relationship through a screen. And that's really what GNEX has always been about. It's been about bringing the right people into the right room, and letting them have that face-to-face time where in 30 minutes they could do something that would take them 6 months in a Zoom environment. So Zoom's great once you've got the relationship, but if you want to build a relationship, people like doing business with people they like. And you can't get that through a screen as two strangers, and so that's why these will always be, and if anything, are even more important now than they ever were.
Well, on a Zoom call or any call, it's easy to say, thank you, click, you're off. More difficult when you're sitting face-to-face. So what are some of the things that are event that Zoom cannot duplicate? I mean, we do a lot through Zoom. We do meetings, and a lot of companies right now are saying, saving the expenses of going to a convention, say, we'll just do a Zoom. Or what are some of the things that happens in a live event like that in GNEX we're at right now that just cannot happen in the digital world?
So relationship building for sure, but having those conversations that you didn't know were going to happen. So if you have a Zoom call, you've got a planned meeting and you've got a planned agenda, and there's a reason why you're on the call. when you come to a live event like this, you'll notice we have a networking lounge for people to network and do business, but there's just as many conversations happening in the hallway as there are in here, right? They're walking backwards and forwards from a session to this room or from the bathroom to the session room, and you say hi to somebody and you just strike up the conversation. And, whether it's there, whether it's at a cocktail party, whether it's at one of the other planned events, you have the time to get yes, you get to the business, but you get to the person and you get to know who they are. And a great example, I have other companies, so I also use this event to have meetings for myself. And you meet with somebody that you didn't know in the morning, and by the afternoon, you're smiling every time you walk past them, and by the evening, you're having a drink with them, and by the next day, you've got the deal that you're after. Whereas when you finish the meeting the first time, they go, "That's great. I'll not think about it, but what's the next steps?" And it's all again transactional, and you don't know whether that deal will happen or not. But then when you see them again and again, and you have 3 days and you share experiences, whether it is laughing at one of the sessions of the interactivity, whether it's partying in Nashville where we are here and finding a shared love of music, or, like us getting onto a conversation that like we like to play golf, all of a sudden there's the human part of it, and that's where the deal flow really comes. You make a friend with somebody, and it reinforces that, and that's why we say, you know, 30 minutes or a day or 2 days here is 6 months, of trying to get somebody, and keep their attention any other way.
Well, over the years, I go back, let's say the last just decade as an example. You and I have interacted about discussion in the Bahamas, San Diego, Whistler, Quebec City, Miami. I mean, just about everywhere. And there's a group that seems to be a really tight group that doesn't mind exchanging ideas, even though we don't necessarily want their service, but their input is valuable because, like you mentioned, that relationship is already established, the trust is already established, and you can say to somebody, says, "I've got an idea. What do you think?" And you're going to get an honest, sincere answer. Then you got the newbies that are coming in the business and are trying to make an impact. And it doesn't always happen, like I said, the first meeting either. It's that relationship might take a little while to develop. So long term, one event is not enough, is it?
No, I mean, you gotta keep reinforcing those relationships. We've got people that meet in this room and then have 20-year relationships, business and friends. And then there's others that if you didn't keep coming, you would lose a year later because they've met someone else that did come. So there's a lot of ups and downs like that, but it's finding the right people in the right room that really gets it that way. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that if you come into an event, you should keep coming to an event, of course. Um, but it's how it compounds year over year into strong friendships of people that want to do business with each other, and then they become very protective of each other too, in a good way, and then they start endorsing them to other people that they meet along the way, and it does really feel like a family here. And there is a core of people that come year after year after year, and really throw themselves into it to help new faces and find new business for themselves too.
One of the things that most people would agree with me that have been to these events is I remember the very first conferences we went to is almost like a tiered level. Like if you were a director of sales and development, you could attend these meetings and you could talk to these people. And then if you were active but still proving yourself, then you could talk to this level. And if you're new, you can just listen to us when we have time. And you've changed that model, and I think it's the biggest compliment to you to GNEX in some ways is everybody here seems to be almost on a fair equal basis that you can sit down with anybody and talk to them on a one-to-one basis and get years. And I mean, there's thousands of years of experience in this room, and of all people that have been through the hardships of the industry, and you can get honest and good trust. So how has that model changed for you? When you look at the very first GNEX you did, it was, I believe, 15 years ago,
16, yeah.
16 years ago. How has your model changed over the years?
I actually think it's not changed very much. Our focus has always been the networking. So yeah, we put on great sessions and we throw amazing parties, but it's all about the networking and just fine tuning that each year to give people shared experiences. And then the biggest job is getting the right people in the room. So, we have something going for us that is should be a negative, but it's a positive. So with the other conferences that we all go to, that we love dearly, you go to the big ones that are run by the trade associations, and you're a member, and you Carter as well, you're a member, and you go to those because that's part of what you chose to do. No one has to come to a GNEX. So the only people that show up here are the people that want to spend extra money to go to another event to gain access to the other people that want to also spend the money and do business. So the only people that come here are the ones looking to improve their business, their company, and find new solutions, right? Which is why everybody here is so happy to talk to everybody, because they all came for the same reason. And that has allowed us to fine-tune it to have just the top 1 or 2 people per company in the room. So it's wall-to-wall decision makers. I think the lowest title here is VP of Business Development, which is a great job, right? But it's a VP or higher, and it's mostly C-suite, mostly the company owners or the people that run those companies. And so you can have meaningful conversations when you're that high up, and you can share things that you maybe wouldn't ordinarily share if you were a little lower down. So getting the right people in the right room is what really makes the deal flow work, where there are some incredible, I'm looking around now as we're doing this, there's meetings going on everywhere, and these people are all trying to do business with each other. And that's what they came for. And that was the only thing that they came for. And we'll throw in some experiences along the way and help massage that network. But they knew what they were coming for. And so you've got people that are coming to buy other people's products and services, and you've got people coming to sell their own products and services to those buyers. And they know that's exactly what they came for.
Well, a lot of vendors out there, they're B2C, B2C, they just want to get customer. You've made your format more of a B2B, correct? As far as interaction with businesses.
Well, it's B2B2C, because the B2B part is a company buying someone else's products and services, but those products and services are usually helping that company that buys its customers. So, if it's software, or if it's more places for vacation rentals or anything like that, it's for the end user. It's for their benefit, even though it's B2B in here. It's always ended up we're in the travel industry, so it's always about the traveler at the end of the day. And so we just have that business level part, but it's always about improving people's vacations.
On the stunning coast of Ecuador, something extraordinary awaits. The first registry collection project in South America. A destination where luxury meets nature. Where every sunset feels exclusive, and every moment is designed to inspire. Welcome to Jama Kempe, where you always want to come back.
Well, it's great. We've all had mentors, and I'm sure you've had yours. And at the time that role sometimes changes, you become the mentor, when not. I remember when I first started in the industry in 30 years ago, got to know Crystal DeHaan fairly well. And she was the founder of RCI, as we know. She's since passed, but a legendary kind of a person. And I asked her, what's the most important thing when you think of the timeshare development or a vacation club? And I really want to make an impact, and I really want to do something good within the industry, even though 30 years ago, didn't really know the world I was entering, and that's changed tremendously. And she gave me an answer that's impacted me. She said, it's all about the owners at the end. It's all about the members. So when you put a conference like this together, you get different speakers. You have options now because you're recognized as a leader in that format. Are you still thinking at the end of the day, is this what we're doing going to benefit the end user? Or is it more about, let's get the B2B and get them to interact? Or do you have that vision a little deeper?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one in the same thing. So if it's helped at B2B, it's going to benefit the B2C in all cases, because there's nobody here apart from the vendors that doesn't go direct to consumer also. And so when we look at the speakers now, as I said, it's all senior level people here. We're not trying to teach them anything new about how to do sales or do marketing. We're giving them inspiring, out of the box thinking speakers that they can take in as an analogy and take back to their teams, and utilize that. And so a lot of our speakers are booked by the companies that attend here to come then into their into their companies and do the same thing for their different departments. And so we kind of identify people like that, like we've done this time, and eh, and really curate it in a way that it allows everyone to get something out of everything, even if it's not direct, it's indirect, but it's something of value that they can now use themselves or give to their teams, or something that will help their customers at the end of the day. And even being a better leader helps the customer at the end of the day. So everyone comes in and gets something different out of the experience, and we just make sure they have a really, really good time and have access. Everyone here is a VIP, and so they just have access to whoever they want, whenever they want. And we just sit back after they arrive and let them get on with it. But we facilitate introductions when someone really wants to meet someone and don't know who they are. But we also have sessions for that too. So we kind of speed up the process. So by the end of day one, like today, everyone's talking to the people that they want to talk to, and by the end of day two tomorrow, there'll be deals signed. That would normally have taken several meetings over maybe several months.
So for the executives that are listening today that I maybe never attended a conference like GNEX, that they figure, we've got everything we need here. We got everything accessible through the websites and through information that's available. We get the calls, but they've never attended a conference like this. How should they approach something like this? What would be the incentive of they're new, they don't know anybody within the forum. They're going to come in a little bit blind. The welcoming part of this, what should be their mindset when they arrive at a first GNEX?
So everyone's very open and welcoming. So being a new face is actually a benefit because everyone wants to talk to you, right? We've all known each other a long time. We're either doing business or we're not doing business, and not a lot's going to change there, right? So we always want to focus on the new faces anyway. So coming here new is a massive advantage. But also just understanding that if you don't attend events like this, one, you don't meet amazing people, but two, like we had a session earlier about AI. So you started this conversation with, in the world of AI, why do you need events like this? Well, to come and learn about what AI can do for you and learn from people doing it, actual practical things. We have a session tomorrow called The Playbook, and it's got 3 simple premises. What did you do that worked? What did you do that you'd never do again? And what are your actual meaningful KPIs, not your typical KPIs? What are the ones that are meaningful for you and your business? We have 5 different people on the panel, 5 entirely different businesses, and they're going to share those almost secrets of their companies of what works and what doesn't work. And they're going to share it with everybody. And so the value is frankly invaluable. And it's not so much about what we do as GNEX, it's about the quality of the people that attend. And they're the ones that give, they're the ones that share. And that's what's made it so successful for 16 years now. Of people just come in and bring it back, and we just keep putting it in nice places so people like to keep coming. And but they're the ones that do the real work. They come in here and they really give people the time, because it's not a huge event. You've got time to meet people once, twice, 3 times in the same event, rather than running around like a headless chicken trying to meet as many people once as possible. You're not memorable if you met once.
Well, there's people that have come here, it's almost become like a brotherhood, which is not just standard event and whatnot, but I think for those that are listening today that haven't attended a GNEX, the opportunity just to come up and see, I think they'll be amazed at the amount of years of experience that people are willing to share openly. And some, even though some may be competitors, they still seem to want to see the other person succeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's high energy and high impact at all times. We'll finish the day today at 5:00, and then the evening starts, and people will still be talking business at midnight. But just in a different format, in a different way. And they'll have also gone and seen an amazing band on Broadway with the big party that we've got. And that's something that they'll remember based on who they hung out with at that party. And then they'll be right back in tomorrow morning for breakfast to do it all over again. And like I said, it's the quality of the people that attend that really makes a difference. It's getting the right people in the right room that has made GNEX special enough for us to keep going after 16 years, and find it very, very easy, really, to recreate year after year after year.
Well, testimonials that we've received over the years are exactly reflect what you've been saying, but it takes leadership. And I think what you and Sharon have put together it's not just a one night plan. You've traveled the world because of it. You understand the industry from all aspects. And I think that reflects into the format that you've put together. So you've got your seminars, you've got your talks, but I think most people would agree is the one-on-one interaction that you get in between the talk, between the discussions. And plus you give everybody a chance, especially for new listeners that are listening right now, everybody gets a chance to give a little 60-second, or sometimes you stretch it to 100 seconds, pitch on your services so that everybody's aware of it. And then from that, what we've seen is somebody will come and says, I might be able to help you with
Yeah.
this. And that's what the business,
Or I know somebody that you should speak to.
or I know somebody that
You know,
you can speak
And
to.
I think a great way to explain GNEX probably is, I have 4 companies. This is not my primary day job by any means. But because I have those other companies, I'm also a vendor. I have 2 companies that are vendors in the room now at my own event, essentially, right? So we created this event based on what we wanted to see as an attendee, as a sponsor. And having gone all around the world, we kind of knew what worked and what didn't work at different events. And then we've created some very unique industry firsts in some of the like the boardroom that we've done and things like that. We've created things because we thought that's what we would like individually ourselves, and we thought that would be cool, you know? And so I suppose that's where the personality comes and the thought behind it comes of, well, what would we want out of a conference? And we built it to get what we wanted out of it, and everyone else seems to agree, you know?
But there's a good balance. It's not all sales driven. It's not all about marketing.
no.
It's not about product design. I think there's a great balance. And the real value in this is you can find basically an answer to any kind of concerns you've got going along the way. So it's been a game changing for me. I can admit it. Since you and I met like some 11 years ago, we instantly bonded for some reason. And I've seen the journey, and the people I've got to meet over the years through GNEX is probably one of the reasons why I'm here today. So I want to thank you for that. And it's you've been a big influence in the business, and I think we're all grateful. And for those that haven't attended a GNEX, you should try one. There's value unquestionably for everybody that's here.
Yeah. I don't think there's a single attendee that doesn't walk away with something valuable.
I agree. I want to say that I was once on a plane with a legendary person within our industry, David Siegel. And I thought, here I am with the biggest independent developer in the world, a billionaire. I don't get those chances too often. And I asked him, I said, why do you attend conferences? You are by far the largest developer. You know basically everything. You've got your team. He said, if I can get one new idea, just one, then it was worth my time. And it's a good philosophy to adapt.
He came for many, many years. And he was very inspiring to us, the same. But yeah, he would give everybody his time. And like you say, billionaire. And he's not hidden in a suite. He's there doing speed networking, you know. And yeah, he was great.
Yes, Jess. Paul, anything else you'd like to add up to the value of what you put together here within the industry? Anything?
No, I think we've covered it. I think GNEX's success is because of the quality of the people. I'll still say that. Yes, we can design some cool stuff, but it's the people that come, and we always need new people, and we always need those new faces. And it's not cliquey here. It is the opposite. And so the more new faces, the better. Our industry is huge, but it's consolidating, and so there's a huge amount of opportunity for new players to come in with new technologies and new ways of doing things, and make some really, really, really good contacts here, and some huge revenue too. So I encourage everybody to come, obviously, but it's not about the ticket. It's about what you get out of it, and what happens here helps everybody in the industry to rise higher. So the more the merrier, but it's more for that reason than anything else. Like I say, not really my day job. We just like bringing people together.
Well, you've created a family in some ways that I didn't have before. Made a lot of great friends because of this, and lifelong lasting friends, even outside of our industry. So it's been great. So thank you so much. And I just think everybody will agree that to attend a group like this with the experience, the quality of the people that are here, the only time you get to do this is at an event like this. So Paul has been such an inspiration for so many people. I hope you get a chance to meet him. But if you'd like more information about GNEX or about the CRTA or the podcast, please fill up the comments below. We'd be glad to respond to you as soon as possible. So on behalf of me and the team, I'd like to thank you. Safe travels. Good night. This episode is brought to you by Hamakampai, the first vacation ownership project on the northern coast of Ecuador.